Hey there, welcome to another Friday night watch talk, guys. I am joined today by my friend Sam. Hey, look, last Tuesday I wasn't, I was kind of a little tired, Sam. I usually stream on Tuesdays and I had to bail last minute just because, and we're joined by Deb. And just because, the night before, I don't know if you have kids, Sam, but sometimes, the kids wake up at 3:30 in the morning and then you're up with them the whole rest of the day. So Tuesday, sorry guys in the chat. I know I bailed last minute, but I just hit a wall right after dinner. Anyway, Sam, how are you? Thank you for joining us this evening, and Dib as well. Sam, what do you got on wrist tonight, man?
Yeah, all good. No, thanks for inviting me. I'm actually wearing. I got very kindly sent by Casio one of their G-Shock fitness watches.
Oh yeah.
This is the square with the heart rate monitor on it.
So this is a new one, right?
Yeah, this is a brand new one.
Let
So
me
I've
give you
got
a
the
little
black
solo layout
version.
here.
Yeah, I got the black version and then the blue version. If you just bear me a second.
Yeah.
The black the black and the blue. So I've been doing a comparison between this and I've got the equivalent Garmin, which is the Instinct, which is similar solar and fitness tracker and stuff like that. So I've been working on the comparison today. So hopefully I'll get that out for Monday. Interesting watch. So
Interesting, good or interesting?
Yeah, it's interesting.
First of all, let me ask you a question. First, are you a square guy when it comes to G-Shock?
I am. I think I am. Yeah, I think I definitely am. I like the square G-Shocks. I've got the 40th anniversary one, which to be honest, I wasn't crazy about the recrystallized one. I got the one that was the 1983 40th anniversary one. In fact, I've been messaging Russell, the Mad Watch collector, about this because he did a review of this, and I just wanted to verify some of the things that I was feeling about it. It's a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, and he verified some stuff that I was thinking, but there's also certain things that I think a little bit differently about it than he did. But
what does it retail for?
It retails for $300 US, so it's bang on with the Garmin Instinct Solar.
Okay.
It has its app, but the app is powered by Polar. They were like the first sort of fitness company, weren't they? Polar watches.
Oh, okay.
Polar was real back in the day. They used to, they were like the first ever one, and then TomTom got into it, and then Garmin. But so the software is powered by Polar, and you have an app, a companion app that goes with this. But it's not to spoil the review, but they've still got some catching up to do with Garmin. But just on the face of it, the actual watch has that MIP display. It's like it's like the multi-pixel display, so it's not the LCD that you see on the other squares. So even just to have a square with all of this additional detail on it, you see the battery at the bottom, you've got the big time, you can change the way that the face looks as well. On here as well. It's just really cool. The only thing it doesn't do, which I was a bit disappointed, is it doesn't allow you to switch to a positive display, even though they could easily do that. It only allows you to only 3 choices of display, and they're all completely different. 3 different choices of display, but they're all in the negative.
Interesting. Oh, cool. Well, very much. Thank you for showing that. We really appreciate it. Hey, Dib, what's going on, man? What's going on? How you doing?
Doing good.
What do you got on wrist?
I have my Ming 3707. Really cool watch to have, and the more I wear it, it's like they did some sort of magic with the 3707 case. Really pleased with it. I'm so glad that I did not think of like canceling it, because I would definitely regret it not getting it. I don't know how what they have done with it, but it looks like like the metal outer like the ring. It shines as much as a sapphire bezel, or like essentially if you look at the original mosaic dial, which is a 20.11, they have like a sapphire disc. And I don't think at this price point they have a sapphire disc. It's probably polished metal, but looks incredible in the sun. really pleased with it. Can't
That's
go
great.
wrong with it at 30. I think I paid like 38 or 39 with import tax.
Okay. Okay. Hey, listen, you went to the AD today, so I want to hear your thoughts. But let's just say hello to the chat first, and then we'll get into that. We'll talk about some new releases and whatever anybody has on their mind. Please ask us a question. I'm sure Sam and Dave would love to answer your questions. On the chat. I got my submariner on wristed today. Let's say hello. Hey, Rob from Mountain Standard. Hello, friends. Let's watch Nerd It Up. Absolutely. FP Wilson's here. Justin is strapped in. Steve Timel, how you doing? KR Joy, how are you? Sympathy for the Bezel, great to see you. Joey B, yo, what is up? How are you? Chaz from the Berg is here. Sean Holloway, thank you so much. How you doing? Hey, Amin's here. What's up, Amin? Good to see you. Scott is here wearing the Globe Master tonight. Great watch. What's up, BJ? How you doing? Bruno is here. Marceau, what is up? Wearing his Pam 628 Radomir. Very good looking watch. Um, Caliber YQG. How you doing? All the way from Canada. Hey, James Duffy's here. How you doing? Kevin S. Evening all, wearing his Seiko SPB 185 today. Very toolish watch. They need to discontinue that one, right? But you can still find it on I think Nomon and some of the Japanese sites. Really good watch.
Uh, I don't think it's discontinued.
I don't think this is. I thought they did. Anyway, okay, my bad. You know what it is because like maybe I remember seeing Nomon watches saying last chance to get this. So I presume that means it was discontinued, but maybe they mean it. Maybe they're just not getting more stock in.
I think it's Seiko. You're gonna
Okay.
get the watch new at least another year before
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
dying out.
very true. Bobby's here. Watch Medicine, Young Excellency. How are you, Thomas Burnett? What's going on? Staying up late, Thomas. It looks like everybody. Hey, B-Man. B-Man is here wearing his Bell and Ross. Very nice. Very nice. Garmin for life, Justin R says. Justin, very, very big Garmin guy. James says, I didn't know I needed a Shock G reference until now. Wayben is here. How you doing, Wayben? Good to see you. Maison One is here. How are you, sir? Stefan, how you doing? Good to see you. What's this? Wilson, thanks for the super chat. Dib's Bald Spots Regrowth Fund. What's going on, Dib? What's going on? Watch is stressing you out? You getting some bald spots? What's going on?
I went to the doctor. I went to the doctor and they shaved my chest off. So
That's
you
funny.
know it's embarrassing, but like that's what you go to the doctor for, to have
Yeah,
those embarrassing moments.
yeah. Well, when you took off your shirt, Dib, were they like seriously take off your shirt?
Yeah, so
Seriously, just take
uh,
off. You took
I'm
off
a
your shirt.
hairy guy. I have hairy genes. Just look at my beard. So
Yeah,
I preempt any sort of, oh shit. I mean,
yeah.
look at this beard.
Okay.
I preempt it with a joke, but
Yeah. Fell flat.
I mean, like people will be surprised,
Okay.
especially people in this country. Like, come on, like this guy just came out of the jungle, so
All right.
let's give him a break.
Okay.
But yeah,
Uh, Paul saying hello. Anish, hey Anish, how you doing? Joey B firing out a question. If you had to make a perfect 3-watch collection using Omega,
uh, did I lose Bobby? We
Might have
lost him.
paused, yeah.
hey, am I
Uh,
here?
yes.
Okay. Sorry guys, did I drop? Okay, I might have an internet connection issue, but everybody can see me now, right? We're all
Yeah.
good? Okay.
Yes.
So Joey B's asking the question, if you had to make a perfect 3-watch collection using Omega, what would you choose? And why would it be a Speedy Aquaterra and a Planet Ocean? I think Joey's leading in here a little bit. I think he's telling us what he has. Sam, your thoughts on a 3-watch Omega collection?
Yeah, I would do the Speedy's a good one. I had a Speedy for 10 years, but I ended up selling it. If I was going to do the Aquaterra, it would have to be the one with the Bumblebee secondhand, the 15,000 Gauss. I love that one, the yellow and black. Planet Ocean, there's never been one that I've liked, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've reviewed a few on the channel. I reviewed the Michael Phelps limited edition. They did a collab with Michael Phelps.
Yeah,
I think after one of his things. I think if I was going for, I've always been partial to the Skywalkers, the X33s, the Annie Digis. I had the original one and I thought I would really like it, but I didn't really warm to it in the end. But I would probably do the Speedy, maybe the 57. I quite like the look of that one, but it's a bit on the high side.
Right.
And the George Clooney one.
Yeah. Dib, thoughts?
I'll give my answer based on, am I limited to some price point?
That's a good question. Yeah. Let's limit it because Omega has a huge selection, right? And prices, ranging from the very affordable to the very, 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 very pricey. Let's give you 15, but you can work in discounts or secondary pricing.
Okay. If I got 15, I'd probably do the Seamaster Trilogy 1957 limited edition diver. That would be number one. Number two would be the Gene Cernan Speedy. That would put me at 10 grand and 5 grand. And pretty much I utilized almost all of it, and I'd be happy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I would go. So I would go Speedmaster Moonwatch. I'd go 1861 on the bracelet Sapphire Sandwich, right? Even though I like the new one with the new bracelet and whatnot, but I'll go the 1861, right? I would do a Seamaster. Man, that white dial Seamaster that Amin got on Rubber Strap looks so good. You could probably get those for just under 4, right, Deb? Maybe. And I would try my darndest then to class it up a little bit. And I'll go with the Aquaterra, two-tone with the Sedna, with the small seconds, the new one. I mean, that one, it'll be a little bit of a stretch to get it all under 15, but I think that's what I would do with that kind of budget and those parameters. Let's keep going here with the chat. We're almost done. RM, hey everyone, wearing his Omega Dynamic Chrono. Very nice. Speaking of Omega and Chronos, what do one of my pet peeves are, and maybe we can get sidetracked with this a little bit. Diving chronos. I don't like them. I don't understand why would you need a diving chrono. I mean, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Makes no sense to me. Have you guys ever thought? Has that ever bothered you, or like it does me? Dib?
I don't think so, because it's a thought which I never had to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's a category of watch which I just don't care for. To me, everything has its place. A diving chrono, yes, it's good. It exists, but I probably wouldn't be using it. What I would like to use is a pilot's chrono. Which is certified to 200-meter water resistance. That's what I would use, like Sinn, the Arctis. I don't remember the reference number. Or
with the
a
blue
chronomat.
Dial.
Or a chronomat 42 with the roller bracelet. That's what I would take.
Yeah. Sam, any thoughts on a diving chrono?
Yeah, well, I mean, we both actually do. We both technically own a diving chrono, don't we? Because this does have a stopwatch on it, and you have one of these.
I do,
and it's got a depth gauge on it as well.
Yeah.
But I know what you. I think when you said it, and we were talking about Omega, I immediately thought of the Planet Oceans with
exactly. That's
the
exactly
chrono. I'm not a fan of those, I have to say. But yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, the utility, if it's for diving and it is simply to count down time timing your dive, then the chronograph probably isn't as useful on a diver.
I mean, if you got glove, especially if you're like you're serious doing some serious diving, you have some gloves and stuff like. I just don't see how that is effect. I think it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, there are very few diving chronos that I like. The Sinn EZM 13, I do like that one. I have to admit. But other than that, every time I think of a diving chrono, I think of either a Planet Ocean or a regular Seamaster chrono, and just imagine how like just insane that looks, and it's just like how thick that watch is, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, all right, glad we got that out of the way. Paul saying definitely Aquaterra Speedmaster on the fence of the SMP versus Planet Ocean, flip of a coin. Joey B says, listen, I just ask the questions. I don't make the that's funny. Should have her shave something else. Cough.
No comments.
Okay. Hey, Lyndon's here. How you doing, Lyndon? Finally catching up live. SNR 033. Oh, there was very nice watch. I had the 035. Flippin' Zippo walked into conversation late with take off your shirt. Hell yeah. Okay, I think we're catching up to the chat a little bit here. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Mizone says not wearing his 50,000 in a few days. Okay. Okay. Scott saying, has anyone here bought from Swiss Watch Expo? They have a watch I'm interested in, but doesn't have box and papers, and I'm trying to decide if I should get one. Now I have them bookmarked. Are these guys from Atlanta?
They are from downtown Atlanta. They do have a good reputation. People locally haven't had the best of luck because they do have a very big catalog of watches ranging from, I don't know, like 2 grand all the way to like 100 grand, I guess. Like in-person experience has not been that great, but I've had people who have bought watches from Swiss Watch Expo. They have not had issues. They're a reputable, legitimate company. They do have a physical retail location too. If you're in Atlanta, the only thing is you'll need to call, make an appointment, and you walk in, and they'll have the watch ready for you. So it,
Yeah.
it's 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 been like a mixed bag for people living locally, but people buying online,
Ugh.
they have had nothing but good luck. I think I do need to mention, and this was just a one-off. And some guy bought a Seamaster, I think, an older Seamaster with the coaxial movement.
Yeah.
Now you know what? I think that was Crown and Caliber. Never mind, cancel that.
Okay. Okay, Dib, you got it. Look at this thing. I mean, that's just like hideous. I mean, oof. Don't you think so, Dib? I mean, look at the size of that thing.
I think it would appeal to a very particular customer or client who thinks everything in the world is just super ugly, and he finds beauty in that. You know, it's a weird. It's not a very normal person. He looks at the entire catalog. He's like, no, 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 that's ugly. Throw it away. But this, oh, you know.
Sam is like, what did he walk into? Shaving the chest?
Hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Dibs picks Snoopy, one to keep and two to flip, and then 10 flip the last one later, and then flip the last one later.
No, but like my choices were realistic. If given 15 grand, the Gene Cernan, I've been a big fan of that watch.
Yeah.
I think it's like right around the 8,500 to 10K mark. If you guys don't know which one I'm talking about, it's the Apollo 17 45th anniversary Speedy and the 1957 trilogy's Seamaster. Those are the two. I don't need an Aquaterra. Like I have
Yeah.
the chronograph and the diver, and it's and the 1957 trilogy is a vintage diver, so if you really want to dress it down, you can. You know, just
Gotcha.
put a good leather strap on it. You're good to go.
Rob is saying Mountain Spender Time, Speedy, Globemaster, and Seamaster Pro White Dial. Okay, question for the panel. Bruno has, what watch did you put up for sale that didn't sell? And we're happy it didn't sell because it would have been a mistake. Sam, anything come to mind?
Do you know, I have sold. I don't know. I kind of sell everything that I do put up for sale, which is weird. I don't ever have any regrets selling them. I sold that Speedmaster, and that was my one watch for 10 years.
Yeah.
Before I sold it, but I ended up like sending it away to get serviced, and it came back pristine. And I'd never seen it look new because I bought it pre-owned, and it was pretty back when I bought it, and it came back looked pristine. And I just couldn't. It just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same thing. So I sold it, and I've never thought, oh, I wish I'd bought that back. Yeah, there's not any that I haven't ever done that, and I haven't ever bought a watch back that I've previously sold.
Oh, okay.
Either. I don't know. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever bought back a watch? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've bought the SARB 033 like 3 times over. I bought you did it's done it 4 times, right? There's a couple of watches. Oh, the Sinn 856, I bought it 3 times over. I have sold everything that I put up for sale, I believe. Like I think like once I make that mental decision that it's gone, right? And if I sell and it takes too long to sell, maybe I'll pull it and then like sell it again. So I don't know. So Bruno, I don't have any answer to that specific question. Dib, has that ever happened to you?
No, because once I decide to sell, it's in the other watch box.
Yeah.
It's not coming. Yeah, that's not coming back in.
It's the bad box.
Because at the end of the day, if I have decided to sell something, it's to bring something else in, and I need the money.
Yeah.
That being said, you know how many watches I bought. I bought plenty over the last 4 years. I think the only watch that I really regret selling and was the Grand Seiko Iwate, the Blue Iwate SBGJ 235. That I had sleepless nights. I mean, I got the Grand Seiko Peacock because I made a trade, and I love the Peacock. But like for the first week and a half, I mean, I literally remember going to the FedEx store to drop the box off, and it's like, I'm sending my child away to boarding school. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I thinking? Like, why am I thinking like this? Because I had palpitations. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, like why couldn't I keep both if I could afford to keep both? Because they're exactly similar watches, same case, same movement, just 2 different dials, and I just could not justify keeping both of them because like they are different shades of blue, but at the end of the day, they both are blue Grand Seikos. But other than that, I've rebought Sarbs multiple times, 4 times I think, maybe it's 5, I don't remember. A Grand Seiko Toge twice. That's it.
Wow.
Nothing else has been rebought.
Yeah.
I have regretted selling one watch, and it was when I first got into eBay, and it was a vintage. There's a British watch company called CWC. You heard of it, the military one.
Yeah.
Well, back before they were $300 or $700 for a mechanical, you could pick them up in the UK at antiques fairs. They were all over. When they stopped, because they were issued to the British military, and you used to be able to find them on eBay for like £40, like super cheap. You'd find them everywhere. And I actually buy them on eBay, and I bought a mechanical one from the 70s, and I sold it on eBay, and I regret selling it because I think if I'd owned it now, that would have been probably could have sold it for $1,000. But that's the only one I ever regretted selling, just because I probably could have got a little bit more for it. But but yeah, that's crazy the way that the prices for those have gone, even what they're charging today.
Sure, yeah. Lyndon saying CK859 Constellation on bracelet and Speedmaster Racing. Oh, forgot about the Speedmaster Racing. There's some Speedmaster Racings that I really, really like. James is saying a vintage Seamaster 3-hander, modern Seamaster, and a Speedy 57. Kevin's saying the new Zodiac Diver chrono looks good, and yeah, let's pop that one up here. I think this is the one he's talking about, right, Dib? Is this the one he's talking about? This
Yeah.
Yeah.
the X Ecron? Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, it does look good. It does look good. We'll reserve judgment until I see one in person. It looks like it's pretty thick, but whatever. It's a chrono. Sizing looks good. Looks better to me. That looks better than any diving chrono Seamaster or
Uh, I'm gonna go full hobby bobby on this. I'll say I don't like it.
yeah.
Why is there a dot at the 12, whereas the other indices are different? Like what were
Oh,
you thinking?
that really,
That
yeah. Okay.
that
Okay.
that that would be something which would bug me. I bought one Zodiac like 4 years, 3 years ago, and the STP movement was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously this is not an STP. Probably
Right.
it's an ETA or a Celita,
Right.
but I don't know. I'd probably pass on this one.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing a lot of work though, haven't they? Zodiac. I regularly chat to Mike Pearson, who's he's the sort of new head of brand or something, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
doing. I know they've been doing a lot of work on the movements and stuff. I quite like the direction that they've been going in.
I
Yeah.
think they definitely want to be more successful. And what I've seen, I've spoken to Mike Pearson too at Wind Up. Obviously, he doesn't remember me, but it seems to be. I'd say they're listening to their customers, seeing how the
Mm-hmm.
STP movements are not up to the mark. If you see most of the new watches, they're either Salita or what's the other one? Suprod movements, I think. So definitely, I wouldn't say the watch quality is bad. It's just I did not like the movement.
Yeah.
Bracelet and case finishing, everything was on par with the pricing, with the price point it's at. But again, like I don't see, for me at least, I try to be more focused or at least more disciplined, at least in this year, because I keep losing a lot of money on the watches I sell.
Yeah.
So if I listen, so okay, Sam, I have a theory. We have a mutual friend, Kevin. So anytime I say, oh, you know what, I want to buy that Seiko or I want to buy that Damasco, the first thing he goes, Dave, do you really need it?
Mm.
Really? So I call it the inner Kevin.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what does the inner Kevin say? Like, does the inner Kevin say, do I want it? Yes. All right, go for it.
Yeah.
And like where you'd be okay buying the watch and losing money,
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Yeah,
buy something and then regret it and then lose a ton of money, that's not the inner Kevin talking. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm selling a bunch of watches on Sunday on Whatnot, so
Oh,
we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go with those.
what time on Sunday? Let us know. So
It's going to be 6 o'clock Eastern.
okay.
So it'll be after the
Mhm.
the live stream on my channel, which ends at 5:30, and I'll be going live on Whatnot. I've probably got about 10 watches on there. There'll probably be more like 15 if I'm just kind of grabbing stuff and
Yeah.
going. But a lot of the ones that have been sent in recently for review, some from my own collection, so there'll definitely be some bargains.
Is this your first time doing Whatnot, or have you done it before?
Third time.
Yeah.
So third time doing Whatnot. Watch Chris actually got me into it.
Yeah, me too. Same
Uh,
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't realize you've had a go as well.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like at least 6 or 7 months, but there was
Yeah.
a stretch where I was on and I was selling straps and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, I did one where I was selling off a similar thing, selling off watches that my own collectional ones, and then I did a sort of a charity one where I sold off a lot of watch straps to help out Mikola over at Man Cave Leather a bit, because he'd recently moved from, or fled, I suppose, from Ukraine to Canada.
Yeah.
And helping him out getting some new equipment and stuff, because he had to leave a lot of his watch strap equipment in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So,
Flipping Zillow For submarine races. Oh, so that's what the that's right. Submarine races, sure. Young Excellency saying Sapphire Sandwich, Aquaterra Annual Calendar, and Railmaster. Nice choice.
You know, I always used to get my watch. I always used to call my watch the Sapphire Sandwich, and I said it in a review when I did the review, and I must have got corrected on it 100 times. People were totally right because I thought mine was a Sapphire Sandwich.
All right, Sam.
Sam,
You're cutting in and out.
Sorry,
your microphone. Yeah, no worries.
Sorry, I won't touch anything.
Yeah, no, you're good now. You're good now.
You're good now.
Yeah, I was saying that I always used to call mine the Sapphire Sandwich, but it wasn't. It was Hesselite on the top and Sapphire on the back.
Gotcha.
I used to get it wrong.
Fair enough. Obviously, Bobby Legs has never been to submarine races. Oh, is this a thing? I think you guys are pulling my leg. Bobby Watchman is wearing the amazing Helios Fairwing crown of the micro brands. How do you feel about Helios, Sam? You have any thoughts?
I have never seen one. I've never seen one in person. Is that the brand that they sell out quite fast, don't they? I think
pretty much
they sell out like extremely fast.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in person. I mean, I've always liked the dial. They do quite a nice blue dial color, which is similar to one of the Zodiacs, actually, or they did do. I mean, have you had hands on?
I've had hands on once, and I got to tell you, like I say, impressed with it. But the people, I know some people who are just like, they love it. I think you're a big fan of Helios as well, right? Or
I've had my friend Beans. He lent me his Helios.
Yeah.
Really good watch for the money. Globalite Lume dial was pretty impressive under macro. I think price point is really good too. $800 to $1,000 depending on where the watch is being sold through. Like there's a couple of limited collabs that happened recently which were around $1,000.
Yeah.
You can pick them up on the secondary for around $1,200-$1,300, and you're not going to lose any money. Like if you think of buying at a higher price, just because there's too many people after the watches. And Beans again, he sold his watch in 10 minutes. He posted it on Reddit, and it just went. Definite high quality. If I could get one directly from Helios, I'd be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, it doesn't fit into the watches that I have had, or I do have, or coming in. It's just I don't have space for it monetarily.
Yeah, gotcha.
I remember why I've never tried to buy one, because they don't have the date on them, and I'm funny about having the date on watches.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
I just refreshed my memory now. Just had a quick look online.
Mason saying my Omega choice would be the Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch Sapphire Sandwich, AT Equator World Time Blue, and the Planet Ocean 3-hand Orange. I'd probably bust 15K, but I don't care. I want what I want. Fair enough. Hey, Colin's here. How you doing, Colin? Good to see you. He's wearing some hype watch. I think I know what it is.
Yeah, man's been on another level since he got the Daytona. He doesn't care about the pores. He's like, please go away.
Gus from Breaking Bad shops at Swiss Watch Expo. All right, there you go. That's in hot news.
Yeah, they did a video. I forgot about that.
Lyndon saying I've owned no less than 10 Seamasters just because of the specs. I end up selling them because I remember I hate the skeleton handset. I don't. Is this? I don't have an issue with the skeleton handset. I know some people do. I mean, this is the second person who's made a comment.
I don't
like it. Yeah,
you don't like it?
No, that's the only thing that honestly, like I know I'm funny about stuff, but that is the only thing that has never made me push the trigger on the Seamaster 300. I actually got to see the very rare green dial one a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I would love it. I thought this is the one that's really going to grab me. It was on the bracelet and everything, and then I just couldn't there's just something about those hands. I don't know what it is, and I love James Bond. Like this is my childhood. The Brosnan era Bond is, was my sort of coming of age Bond, and I would love to own one, but I can't. There's just something about those hands that weirds me out. Anyway, sorry.
Hey, I get it. No, look, I get it. There's some skeletonized hands that I'm not into, but the Seamaster one, I'm okay with. Dib, what are your thoughts?
I had the Seamaster for almost 3 years, so I like it. That was my first expensive watch, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it, but if you do, I'd suggest getting the Scepter watch, the Daniel Craig one. Doesn't have skeleton hands, but definitely a cool watch if you can find one. They're also obviously sold out. It's been a couple of years, and the retail. I mean, the current market value is also pretty high, 8 to I think 10K. I think. But that's what I would get if I did not want to get with skeletonized hands, or go neo vintage, sword hands.
Sword hands, yeah, you could do that, sure.
Seamaster 225480, I think.
Your Excellency, wearing my SARB 033 right now. I had my 856i on earlier. Kevin S saying those dreaded skeletons hands. The internet tells us they hate them. Ken Spirit checking in from Pittsburgh. Con says, I regret that Sanjay sold the SBGY003. Still haven't gotten over it. Dib had to get his chest shaved because he sold the latte.
So my medical procedure is out in the open, sadly.
No, but it's okay. Hey, fellas, just wondering. I'm looking for the ultimate tool watch, and I'm thinking Sinn. Sinn U1. U1. Oh, the U1. Okay. Thoughts? Thank you. Well, I'll jump in here first. As somebody who's a fan of Sinn and have tried on the U1 and tried on the U50, owned the U50, and actually made a comparison video of it too. If Cowboy Swami, if your wrist is like on the smaller side, or not necessarily on the small side, but if it's like under 7, you may want to consider the U50. If you're over 7, you can go with the U1. Great watch, the U1. Great diver watch, 1,000-meter water resistance if you need it. Get it on tegamented. I think there might be also a stainless steel B plastic version of it, but if you can, go with the tegamented. I'm not crazy about the bracelets. I would go rubber on that one. So U1 on rubber or U50 on rubber. If you want something a little bit smaller, the U50 fits so well. Especially, I have a 6 3/4 interest, and it was just perfect. Anyway, you can't go wrong with a lot of the what Sinn has in their catalog. Sam, any thoughts on a tool watch?
Yeah, I think Sinn's a great choice. I've never owned one, but I've had hands on with most of them. I went to one of those watch buy events where they invite you to a hotel and you kind of play with them. A bit old school, but Sinn. If you like the look of Sinn, then Sinn do it very well.
Yeah.
And actually, that's probably a better spelling of it, isn't it, for us?
Right. So you know how to pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts on Sinn or other tool watch possibilities for Cowboy Swami, Dib?
Honestly, all right. I'm going to finish that thought later. I think Sinn, Damasco too.
Yep.
Bell and Ross to an extent. If you get one of their Thule watches, definitely, you need to like that aesthetic to, carry that watch. But I feel Sinn is probably the best middle ground because it's not that expensive. And honestly, if I had the wrist for a new one, I'd wear a new one. It's cheaper too.
Yeah. Then the U50.
You're getting you're getting a lot more value from the U1. And probably what Sinn is gonna do is they're gonna discontinue it because the prices keep creeping up every day with Sinn. I can't think of anything else. Doxa to an extent, but I don't think the Doxa would take that much of a beating as much as the Sinn would.
Hmm.
especially if you get a tegmented one. And this is what, so many of my friends ask me for a reference, like, hey, what do I buy? Now, I always ask them the question, you need one watch. What is it for? Do you need to impress people? Or do you need something which will run? You service it every 5 to 8 years and it looks tough as hell. I've suggested Zen to many people, and
Mm.
like, non-watch people know nothing except maybe Fossil and Apple. And like I made them look at all the models, and they're like, you know what, I like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody will know what it is, so that's probably the only con. But I mean, if you get the Zen Arctic or even the 903 Navitimer or some, there's a charm to Zen
Hmm.
that I still feel like they exude even now with with the recent price increases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damasco is a very good option if
Yep.
you don't want to pay Zen prices.
Yep.
Segmented case for like 14-1500 bucks, which is like $600-700 cheaper from the Zen.
Yeah.
They have a plethora of watches. There's another German brand called Gino.
Hmm.
I would say very tooly watches.
Yeah.
And
Totally
and
pilot
what
watches, sure.
and what's the one which TGV salivates to?
Fortis.
Yeah, Fortis.
Mm.
Extremely well built watches. Now, I mean, the design aesthetic doesn't work for me, and the way the cases are shaped, it doesn't fit small wrists. Like even the 39 looks massive because they're like straight,
Yeah.
jutting up. So if you have a big wrist, Fortis is another brand which is really good.
Mm.
Like lot of value in it, solid movement, solid pricing. If you don't want to spend about 4 grand. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to Sam's point, I mean, if the aesthetic, if you like the aesthetic, was Zen, you go for it. Here's a couple of little pieces of advice. If you're looking for a Zen with some sort of tegmented case or bracelet, whatnot, look secondary. These watches hold up very, very well. I bought Zinn's, secondhand before that have the tegmented case in it. They look pretty much new still. Obviously, do your due diligence, look at the pictures and whatnot. Same with Damasco, because of their ice hardened cases. Don't buy new, buy secondary. Um, Zinn has a little bit more of a robust catalog than Damasco, but both are great watches. Buy secondary if you're going tegmented for sure. Skip the bracelet, go with the rubber. Those are just my suggestions. Um,
Uh, there's
yeah.
another brand, I keep forgetting them. They supply the German military or the police with watches very tooly.
Well,
Um,
Zinn does that. Zinn supplies the German police, don't they? Don't they like the German SWAT team or?
if I
Yeah, but
it's a German name, so I just can't. It's just escaping my mind. Tutima,
Tatima.
another one.
Mhm.
For tool watches which will survive a long time, I think the German brands have an edge over Swiss brands.
Mm.
Again, with tegmented
Yeah,
steel,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the case is tegmented. I'd go German any day. So I used to work for a company which was acquired by a German conglomerate, and like the Germans flew in, trying to teach the Americans and like the rest of us, hey, you should do work this way. And all of a sudden, like the cuff goes up from a German executive, and he's wearing a Zen 356. So I asked him, hey, like nice Zen, and he's like, yeah, I'm from Frankfurt, so I always like the brand. He has had that watch for, and this was back in 2017. He had that watch for over 12 years, I think. So he
Hmm.
told me he sent it into service once, works perfectly.
So he bought his Zinn when Zinn's website looked modern.
Yeah, you're right, definitely. But like his advantage is he can just walk in, buy it from the company itself, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to go on the website.
Oh, the song and dance with watch buys over here.
Yeah.
That is one thing I wish more. I mean, Watchwise has that, like, has
The
that
monopoly.
stronghold.
Yeah, the
They
monopoly on
like
Zen in the
somebody
States.
needs to step up and say, hey, we are also a Zen brand, just because I think we pay a lot more here in the US thanks to Watch Boys having a foothold, very inflexible with service.
Mm,
If you buy a second-hand watch, you need to prove that you are the owner. Otherwise, your watch won't be covered under warranty. That's just complete BS in my opinion. Like the watch is under warranty. That's it.
yeah.
Take it in, service the watch, send it back to the customer or the client. Even with the returns policy, really tough.
Yeah.
If you open the plastic wrap, or if there's even a slight crease on the strap, done. You know,
Yeah.
so tough.
Moving on, Kevin S says Tudor Pelly is another option. RM, have any of you experienced a shift in your opinions regarding the CW show, the 12, perhaps moving from a more critical perspective to a more positive one, or vice versa? Now, you came out with a review of it recently in the last couple of days. But I think you were pretty much, Sam, you were pretty much generally positive on the watch, weren't you?
Yeah, it's everything that Mike said it was.
Mm.
I likened it to this has ruffled a few feathers. I likened it to a more refined PRX. To me, it reminds me of the PRX, but if the PRX is a more refined case, more highly polished, more attention to detail. The only thing that I didn't like, which apparently I'm in the minority here, because one of the guys over at Christopher Ward told me that actually the best-selling version is their Glacier Blue. I actually didn't like the Glacier Blue. Because it's the dial really glistens. It's quite interesting what they've done with it, and I didn't think it offered enough contrast between the silver.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
I don't know what it was. It was just too much. I used the terminology bling in the video. I don't know if anybody uses bling anymore, but it was just a bit too blingy for me. I think I think the titanium with that dark blue dial, or their dark blue version. But I thought it was it's a Christopher Ward. They've done an amazing job of it. Would I have liked to have seen a Kosk movement in the stainless steel? Probably. I think they should have had a Kosk version of the stainless steel and not just reserved that for the titanium one. But other than that, I think they've done it. This is the first iteration of it, so I'm excited to see.
Price point would have been higher though on it, right? I mean,
Yeah. So we've got 1,225 for the steel, and then I think it's 1,825 for the titanium. Yeah, so you're right. It would have been 1,500 or something probably in that ratio. I'm just not. I love it, and I love it, and I even said I might buy one, but I don't know if I'm convinced about whether I personally am convinced for my own taste about integrated bracelets yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Have you owned a integrated bracelet watch?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the PRX. I've had the Citizen Sayos, like nothing like really ultra high end. I mean, I reviewed a Laureato. I like that look. I like everything about it. There's something about it that really just and it's not. It doesn't have to be a Genta style design, but I dig it. Now, not all of them have worn the same, right? I mean, there's some nuance. Some fit better on my wrist than others. Yeah, no, I'm partial to. I'm always gonna like it. I'm always gonna begin liking it.
Yeah,
until I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot to like with the Christopher Ward. It's honestly exceptional. I've reviewed the Royal Oak, and I'm not saying it's quite on par with the Royal Oak, but it gave me that vibe. It's like if you've seen the PRX and held it, which is the PRX is a fantastic watch. It's just like oh right, this is if the PRX was like a luxury if they dialed it up a notch with the refinement of the case and the way that it feels. But it's funny reviewing Christopher Ward watches because there's a whole separate community of people that just pick at things about Christopher Ward watches. It's always weird when I do a review. You can say, "Oh, this watch is amazing value for money. It looks fantastic," and like, I wish it didn't have that, or I wish they'd changed that, or I wish they'd done that. And you don't quite get that with a lot of other brands. Like I guess people don't give Christopher Ward a wide margin. They have a very particular opinion about how they should look and what they should be doing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think some of that is the fact that I don't know. I have I don't have the best view of micro brand watches these days, and I'm not saying that Christopher Ward is one, but they sort of give me that little bit of a vibe, or at least used to. For me, the killer was the logo on the 9 o'clock, the name. That killed me on the dial for a long time.
Would-
Like yeah, go ahead.
Do you know why they did that? I don't
I'm
know if
sure there was a reason for it. Yeah, no, I
yeah,
don't know.
there was like 100% a reason for it, and
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people. I mean, Dib, do you know the reason why they did that? Why they had the name at 9 o'clock?
Uh, Sorry,
Yeah,
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, yeah. The
no,
Christopher Ward, the
Christopher. There's a reason why the name was at 9 o'clock. Like a very specific reason.
yeah.
Do you know what it was? Because I'm just asking you. I can tell you what it was if it's and I can do it briefly. It's on.
I don't. I know Dib is a huge fan of it, Christopher Ward, but I don't know if he knows why it's at the 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
I
so,
honestly,
He's spacing.
right. So they remember they had that like Char Ward, didn't they?
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
Char
And I
Ward
like that
written on,
actually. I like
yeah,
that.
written on the dial.
Yeah.
Well, Mike always wanted to go with the twin flags logo, and because part of it was the Swiss flag, they were really concerned. And this was at the time that Christopher Ward himself was leaving. They were told by their lawyers that, look, if you put the Swiss flag on a watch, you're gonna get the wrath of the Swiss luxury brands. They are litigious, and they're probably going to try and sue you out of existence. I made a video on this. I made a separate video on this on my channel. Mike told the story, and I clipped it out into its own thing. So what they did is they're like, okay, well, what can we get away with? And the lawyer said, look, you need to put your name on the dial, then have the twin flags on there. And you need to do it for 5 years, because if nobody sued you in 5 years in a court of law, they would just say, hey, they've been doing it for 5 years. So that's why they always had the name and the twin flags logo. And that's why 5 years later, they have removed the name and just gone with the twin flags, because now they're at a point where they if they got sued, they've got a thing of saying, like when somebody builds a house and they're like, well, it's built now. And then they're like, well, you didn't get planning permission. It's like, well, it's been here for 10 years. It's very much that thing. So there is a reason why the name was on the dial like that. Just if anybody's wondering why they did that. It wasn't like sheer bloody mindedness.
No. And I get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it still kills it for me. I can never own a Christopher Ward.
Yeah, a lot of people as well. Yeah.
Okay, catching up here. Sinn EZM M10. EZM 10 is a very killer watch, but it is big. Yeah, big wrist. The North Flag, Tudor North Flag, very very good to watch. Very nice to watch. Caliber loves Sinn. Maison Sinn U1 understand the bezel has a lot of play. I believe the U50 is better for a tighter feel, so I suggest factoring into the choice. Okay. Yeah, I think we did. We commented on the U1. Also consider the Bright Lake Super Ocean. Question directed to Dib. What's Giancarlo's favorite watch brand?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Okay, Sinn, another great brand that has no idea who Breguet was. Okay, good German watches. Everybody talks up Sinn segmented, but you have to remember that it's an upcharge. Damasco is part of their basic. Good point, Lyndon. It is an upcharge when there is a stainless steel version available. Some of the models don't give you choice. I mean, they just come tegmented, I believe. But I think it's worth the upcharge. I think it's. But again, I would buy it. I would buy it secondhand. Chrono saying, how about the Archimedes Outdoor? I have actually reviewed that watch. I like that watch very very much. It's a good watch. It's a good, nice field watch. Mule Glazut, the SAR Rescue Timer 2. That's a tough watch. Totally thought that his question was about a show called The 12 from the CW network.
on the CW network.
That
does like it's like a good superhero show.
Yeah. Colin, have you guys noticed the 12 looks kind of like a Chopek? Weird. Stop it. Okay. They wanted to make a shitty. Okay, now here we go. We got all the people hating on. Okay, hey Thomas, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you, Thomas. Sam, you recently reviewed the Ottawa Cobra, which is made in Hong Kong, China. You said there are a lot of decent watches coming out of Asia. Do you think there is a snobbery surrounding micro brands?
This is an interesting question. I think that because for a long time there has been a lot of crap that's come out of China watches, honestly. Like, and I think I mentioned that because the Atawak is like $2,000 retail, and I think there is a lot of good watches coming out of China, like Phoebus. I noted. Phoebus is another is a really good brand out there. You know, a lot of Spinnaker watches are made in Hong Kong, and the other Dartmouth brands are made there, so they can really produce like an excellent watch. But I think they've got some, you know, mileage to go to be accepted as watchmakers. That's worded totally incorrectly. There's some great watches coming out of Asia. I think that for a period of time they had an image problem, but I hopefully that's waning now, especially with Phoebus and other brands that are getting a lot of recognition for what they're doing. And that Cobra was fantastic. I mean, even for 2,000, they do like a cheeky discount on the thing, so it's probably more like 1,500 when you get it. But to get a watch that looks like the work and they made it out of a Miyota movement was fantastic. So I don't think there's a bit of snobbery. I think maybe they've had a slight image problem, I would say. But yeah, great question, Thomas. Yeah, thanks.
Dib is thinking about nurses right now. Go ahead. Did you want to finish, Sam?
No, I was going to ask, what do you guys think about these sort of brands, these brands from Hong Kong?
I don't care about my image anywhere in this world. All I'll say is, yes, I'm a snob. Burn those shitters down. I don't need them.
All right, Dib. All right, this is a family show.
Burn them down. All right. I'm done.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think I feel like there is an image problem with the micro brands coming out of Asia. I think I don't know. I feel like there is. I come off as a snob when it comes to it, but it's only because I've had some experience now, right? And look, I've bought some micro brands. I didn't really dive into micro brands that much. I think at the end of the day, I was like, I'd rather have a Seiko because of the history, and that meant something to me. I mean, like, I got caught up with like, okay, this is an affordable watch that hacks and has sapphire crystal for $300. Yeah, that's great. But it's not just about that. It's I don't know. I think we talked about this a lot, and I don't want to keep on perpetuating the whole snobbery thing, but I feel like I am a little bit of a snob when it comes to this, and it has a lot to do with I've had experience a lot of good watches, and a lot of these micro brands are just not up to par, whether it's affordable or not. It's a very touchy subject on the chat here. Dib, finish your thought.
I'd like to amend my statement. I still believe most should be burned down, but I was looking at this Cobra watch because I did not know it existed, honestly, Sam. This is a pretty cool watch. They modified the Miyota movement. They're doing something on their own, which is original. Another brand to look for, which is Chinese, is Atelier Wen. Good brand. Doing a lot of guilloche work in the mountains. I don't know how they're, in the caves apparently. So they must have good lighting in the caves. Like some coming in. The third one I'd say would be Barron's. Recently did a collab with Constantin Chaikin. Not cheap, 10 grand.
Yeah.
But these brands have their own unique identities that, like it's not a copy paste.
Yeah, like Sega as well, that just won the GPHG award for that Planet Watch as well.
Yeah.
Sega design, I think.
Yeah.
So some of these brands, I'm not saying every brand is bad, or like, to me it doesn't matter to me. Like, if you want to buy a micro brand, go ahead, but something without its own distinct style. I mean, again, you can't manufacture heritage. It has to be built up slowly and steadily over the years. But definitely there's potential for many brands to do their own thing. But till the time all the brands, or most of the brands, come out from that
Yeah.
from that haze of copying the other, copying the big ones,
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter to me.
But
I just would not be interested.
if you expand the scope a little bit in Asia, not just like pinpointed to China and Hong Kong, but just like some of the other peripheral countries. I mean, like you do have some great stuff. Like you got Zelos, you have Ophion, you have some of these brands who are like are they micro brands, are they independents, whatever they are, they're all micro brands, right? To me at this point, they do some good stuff, you know. So yeah, it's just I think it's case by case. I think it really has to be a case by case basis.
Yeah, and like all this, don't like the vast majority of sapphire crystals come from, aren't they grown in Hong Kong or something? There's parts that that specifically come from there, and of course you've got like like Seagull and other movement manufacturers that are have been based in China as well.
Hi, Bobby. Damasco's hardening is much more durable than Zinn's Tegament, and that's actually true from my experience as well. But both are very, very well. Jazz is saying snobbery is underrated.
I think James makes a good point in the chat. Chinese manufacturing is not the monolith snobs seem to think it is. It's not. Most of our products are built in China. Not just watches. It's about the brands. Yeah, I'm not against manufacturing in China.
Yeah.
Like the excellent products. You get your iPhones from China. There's nothing wrong with it. Perfectly fine. It's the fact that most of these brands take so much. Let's just give let me throw them a bone. So much inspiration, so much copying. That's the thing which bothers me. But if somebody is doing something original, why would I put my foot down on that? Like they're trying to build a brand. They're trying to make a name for themselves by doing something which is original. I'm not, like the world of watches has been done to death. There's very little originality to be had, but to have something unique to you, that's the thing which separates all the rest of the Chinese brands to those three or four brands that I mentioned. Yeah. And again, I don't know anything about this Atovac brand. Like honestly, if somebody told me, "Hey, have you heard of the brand Atovac?" I'm like, "What is that? A venereal disease?" Sorry, can't do it. You know.
Yeah, it's an
But
interesting.
you guys get my point, though. Like
Yeah.
I'm never against manufacturing in the Far East. Like we have manufacturing centers all over Asia. India, Pakistan, China, Philippines, everywhere. So half of the Seiko 5s are made in the Philippines, I think.
Yeah, and Malaysia makes Seikos, don't they, as well? And Singapore's huge watchmaker as well.
Right. And this is not about bashing anything that comes out of China. It just happens that a lot of micro brands do come out of China, and a lot of bad ones do come out of there. There's good ones as well. Okay. So Caliber saying, I was just about to say the same thing. Did most products that we buy there come from China? Ray-Ban saying, I'm kind of tempted by Sigma Designs Blue about Blue Planet Gold version. It's probably unwearable big though.
No,
It's not big. It's not big. I've
It's not
reviewed
big.
it. It's not. Yeah, it's actually very wearable.
It's
Sorry.
like a tuna. There's no lugs, so sits very well on the wrist.
Yeah, well, I've done a review of it. Not to promote my channel on yours, Bobby. But
No, of course, no, that's totally fine.
I've got a review of it on mine.
Yeah, they've reached out to me. I just
Sam, that's what we're here for, to promote your channel, to promote Bobby's channel, and to promote my hate towards shitty watches. That's what we're here for.
They won a GPHG award, and and as far as I'm aware, you don't buy those awards. They are actually there is a panel, because I think Adrian Barker Jack's is he on GPHG or something? But yeah, they've
oh boy, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry.
Okay, you got it, Dib. That's for another.
No. All right, I'm not gonna say anything bad. I'm gonna say the man has good hair. He makes good videos. He's reasonably handsome, and that's about it.
Okay.
He should not be. I mean, again, he's a British institution now. Like
Oh, he's just
Because
such a nice guy, though. If you chat to him,
no. I'm not saying he's not nice. I'm not questioning his character at all. But I think that there are better people out there to be a GPAG judge than him. He makes great content, excellent videos, decently nice traps. But I don't feel personally that he has the panache, the knowledge, the depth to be a judge. That's all. Nothing against the guy. If I meet him, probably like I'll be nice. I'm not saying I'll just go and
Talk with him.
smack him in the face, but it's just I've watched Adrian for a long time. Then I stopped watching because I could not take it anymore. Like it's. Have you watched the series Veep?
I have
If
not. No, no.
you
I'm
guys
aware of
have
it.
not, Julia Louis Dreyfus is in that. She has a friend who is a lawyer who comes in at the most inopportune moments, never gives you a good answer. Like let's say, do should I buy this watch? You should, but then again, you shouldn't. So I feel that his videos are good, but they don't have the content that I am looking for in the level in the watch collecting level that I'm in. It doesn't provide any value to me, and for that reason, I feel that he doesn't have the necessary expertise to be the judge. Again, I might be wrong. Like I might be 100% wrong.
Well, wait. What about it? What about thinking it this way? It's assuming that that this is correct, but Adrian certainly has his pulse on, I would say, what like the enthusiast community thinks about watches, and that's something they always lob at the Oscars, isn't there? Like all these films win, but like most people wouldn't really watch them. Do you know what I mean? They're like Oscar baiting, aren't they? A lot of the films. So maybe GPHD has people like Adrian that is like the face of the enthusiast, you know what I mean? Instead of all of like the really, I love the way that they've done that guilloche on the dial. It's like, well, yeah, but would somebody wear that? Like the Sega is wearable, and Tudor won, didn't it? And Adrian's. I mean, I think he's sponsored by Tudor, isn't he? Or he has a business relationship with them. But he certainly has a. Maybe GPHB needs more Adrians, more enthusiasts instead of the.
I think there's a time and place for each and every individual on this planet. He definitely caters to the tool watch enthusiast community. People who hang out in car lots. Hey, look at my tool watch! I'm such a tool. But I just don't believe that he can go in. So tomorrow, let's say Breguet is a has-been brand, right? Doesn't hold value. All right. Let's take a Patek. Let's take a Patek Tourbillon, 500,000 dollars. I would not. So I'll keep an open mind. I'll watch the video, but I know at the end of the video there will be a poke towards his strap thingy, and there won't be any solid content. Like if I were a discerning, clientele, like I'm ready to buy a $400,000 Patek. Well, granted, if I'm actually eligible for it, I don't think I'd get that sort of knowledge which I'm looking for. You know, I'm not saying he's not objective or anything, but I don't think he's there yet. Like he definitely has a pulse for anything sub $10,000. Tudor, Rolex, IWC, and all that. But at the end of the day, deep knowledge is what I seek, and he's not the person to deliver that.
Yeah, well, Bobby, this should be a great opportunity for another live stream, isn't it? Like, what does YouTube reward you as a watch reviewer? Because by rights, Dib, you're right. If YouTube is you're only consuming content that is giving you very specific knowledge about watches, then Watchbox Studios would be the best channel on there, but they're not. Nico is the best channel, screaming and ranting and raving about watches.
Right.
YouTube does not reward making content that is factual about watches. You could make a extremely in-depth breakdown of a Patek. I've done it. I've done a video, and I'm the algorithm, whatever. But you could make and we call it when we're reviewing watches we know sometimes when you review a watch, this isn't going to get views. You're archiving it for somebody that is interested in it in the future, but you know it's not going to get. YouTube does not reward this. So, in fact, Adrian, probably the way that he does it, because he is also very entertaining and engaging and likable, that's what the vast majority, I would guess, of the people that consume watch content is actually, I guess, seeking out, because otherwise he wouldn't be as big as he is, I'm guessing.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, his content sells.
Yeah.
Like, again, going back to my original point of him not being worthy of a GPHG member, I sound like an old fart. He's the new face. He's the new face. He brings in the people. You need the boy toy to go out there and mix it up with the people out there, and he's the sort of GPHG judge who will bring in the new people in. Like, all right, oh my god, I mean, look at that, he's so freaking cool. So if he
Well,
says the Pelagos is the tool watch to get, that's what I should get.
Yeah, Kevin S has put there, is Sam blaming the lack of views on his channel on the depth of. I have no depth of knowledge on Patek. I just researched. I had one Patek video that I really researched, and it was an in fact, this was a good point. The only other video that at the time that had reviewed the same watch, it was the Patek World Timer, was Tim over at Watchbox. So that was the only reference that had. I mean, by rights, he should be like the number one channel if we're just going up here. No, Kevin, my lack of views is because I don't regularly do content, and I'm trying my best now. But it's
and actually, Kevin, Sam does this pretty well with views in his channel. Has definitely exploded lately, especially since the Christopher Ward interview with the CEO. He's done very, very well, Sam. So congratulations on that. You pushed through, and you had that breakthrough, which is great when everybody does have when that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Anyways, look,
level of knowledge, Christopher. I'm not Patek or
Kevin's just kidding. Anyway, hey, look, my alarm bell went off. I gotta call it because I gotta wake up in the morning and bring my kids
no worries.
to French preschool in the morning. But what a great conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, I feel like I'm sweating. So with Dib and burning down the micros. Anyway, Chaz, we're gonna land the plane as per watch error. We gotta land
Bobby,
the plane.
I'll say one thing before you sign off.
Okay.
Just one thing. Watchbox again is a sales pitch. I get to know a lot about the movements and stuff from Tim Mosso, but that's about it.
Yeah.
What I find more valuable in the watch world, because I started watching YouTube videos. I don't watch watch videos a lot anymore, but it's the people that I'm surrounded by, people that I have, where our constant discourse is what enriches our knowledge. That's what I feel is the ultimate goal of buying shit ton of watches and losing a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that, Sam. If he wasn't, hey, Sam seems like a good, humble man who loves watches. All right, so you're getting your props. I think the guys here just like to.
I appreciate it, guys. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but I appreciate it. Thank you. And I know you were joking. I was just saying that, like, my knowledge is cursory as well. Probably that's probably why I was defending Adrian.
Look at this. They're calling for it. Sam and Dib every week.
Hey, if I'm around, I'd love to. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for making it this evening. Really appreciate it. Dib, you're golden. You're solid. Even if you have a little bit less chest hair tonight, that's okay. Chat, thank you so much for the comments and the questions. Really, really appreciate it. You help get this engine going. And don't forget, watch another episode of Watch Soup this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to pick up Sam and go over his channel, subscribe, and he's going to have his stream on 4:30 on Sundays, right?
4:30, Sunday afternoon, and then the Whatnot is at 6.
Whatnot at 6.
Eastern.
And have a good night, guys. Take care.